Guys, how are you doing? Welcome to the Beautiful Scars podcast. I'm your host, Sharon Masuki, and today we will be talking about intentional parenting. With me, I have a guest. I'm not sure if I do an introduction of her, I will do justice to who she is. So, yeah, tell us.
Hi guys. My name is Ms.Mbithi. You can call me Mbithi. You can find me on all social media platforms as She is Mbithi. I am a mom, an entrepreneur, and I'm happy to be here.
First things first, intentional parenting. What comes to my mind when I hear of intentional parenting, and like I mentioned in our introduction, is that we will be talking about intentionality really in everything parenting. And what that looks like is putting in the effort in ensuring that it is not just parenting, like you put in keenness in details. You're very open-minded on the things that you want your children to or child to go through. You're very keen on the styles that you use. You're not just being a mother or a father. You're getting your child involved. You realize, not really realizing, but like you get to give this child that opportunity to feel like they have an opinion. They do have an opinion. So you're not just doing a one man's job, really. Yeah. So
And I would also like to add the fact that when it comes to intentional parenting, it trickles down to how you were raised. I mean, most of us, if not all of us, have some part of our childhoods that would have wanted them to be different. So it's like you know that you were raised in a certain way that you wouldn't want for your own child to experience. So it's like the intentionality of saying, because I was caned so much as a kid, I wouldn't want to do the same to my own child. Yeah, just being a different mom or father throughout the generation.
literally changing the story.
Yeah.
And I feel like why this is very important to talk about it because we've gotten kids at a young age. So the exact definition of a child raising a child.
Yeah.
So even as we parent, even as you parent as a child, there's a part of you that is parenting yourself.
Yeah.
I'm saying this because straight up, I have found myself parenting the child inside of me.
Yeah. Even as you have to parent your own child.
Yeah. There's this time my mom told my son, I wish I had a mom like yours. And I was like, okay. It was a compliment. Like, because I feel like motherhood does not come with a manual. And that's why it is very important to have motherhood conversations.
Yeah.
And so we have a couple of questions that we will expound. Why we're doing questions, it's because we would like to give this a structure.
Yeah.
And we want to stay in line with intentionality in parenting. There's so much talk about parenting, and we will unpack all that as we go on in the many more episodes that we have. But today we would like to focus on the intentionality. And so because my guest here is my very first guest on this podcast, I'll give her the honor of, taking us through the very first question.
Okay, so of course, your host over here sent me a couple of questions, and I'm going to read the first one. And it was, what does intentional parenting mean to you personally, and why do you think it's important? First of all, I think we've answered this in our intro.
Okay.
Yeah, in terms of doing different than you were raised, and in terms of making a better, making the generation different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've answered that in our intro. Do you think?
Why do you think it's important for your children, personally for your children?
I think it's in any way, however you choose to think about it, the word intentionality is important. I mean, anyone can be a parent, but it takes a sober mind. It takes intentionality really to bring out like the best in a child.
Very true.
I mean, if I'm not intentional, then it means then I've just given birth and that's just it. You know what I mean? Yeah, it takes for me to know what I need to do, what I need not to do.
There's the difference between just giving birth
Yeah.
and
Parenting.
mothering. Yeah,
Yes.
parenting.
Yes.
Very true. You just said that and got me thinking of there's a story of a lady that raised a son, and she she wasn't intentional. I'll just say it as it is. And so there's this boy, when you're not intentional, you will not be bothered about whatever your child does outside your sight, right? And if anyone tells you that your child did a certain thing, you'll be very quick to defend them. See, your child is not an angel. Your child is not.
They're gonna do wrong at some point.
And so the guy ends up being a thief. He's imprisoned. And the story was coming now from the mom sharing her experience and like asking the son for forgiveness for not being intentional in parenting her. Because when in our introduction I mentioned, when you're sent somewhere by someone in authority, you get there, and when these people are not listening to you, you can pull the, do you know who sent me? Like, this is the person that sent me. You know, see how they say, hello, ambeni mimi nimekutuma. Like, you can pull that. It's the same way. I feel like parenting, it's a role. It's a role you've been given. Like, it's a task you've been given. So your work is to nurture, and so there's always a place you can look up to if it's not working. Like, it is not. It doesn't come with a manual, but it is not a 1 month's job.
It is. It's actually, there are actually people who say that it takes a village to raise a kid.
Very. Though.
Does it really?
I have my doubts in that. I will not share this here, but I actually have. It makes sense. It makes sense in the sense that I have intentional friendships in my life of people who have intentionally been in my children's lives. But I have people who feel entitled to your child just because it takes a village to raise a child. You get what I mean? They'll be quick to, if you notice, there's I had posted a status some time back of people who will quickly tell you, do not do this with your child, do this with your child. I feel like when it gets there, and especially if you do not have a child that you've raised yourself, it is very rude.
For lack of a better word.
Please don't go around telling people how to raise their children. But there is actually a better way of doing that.
And on that note, I remember this one time I was just scrolling through Instagram and I saw something. There was a certain influencer who said, it's so offensive for someone who doesn't have a kid to tell me how to raise mine. Like, what are you saying? Raise yours. You know? But anyway,
I feel like having kids is hard. Not having kids is hard.
Choose your hard.
Yes, you have to choose your hard, because I again know of people who do not have kids and it is not intentional. Like, they did not intend to not have kids. So as much as it's, if you do not have, again, the same way I will not come and ask you, why don't you have a child? Because I know these are very sensitive topics and you don't get to understand them until you're there yourself. Again, I feel like parents also need grace in when you need to meddle in their way of parenting, then there needs to be some sort of grace. But unless they're doing something illegal, I mean, they need grace. They need grace because parenting is hard. Parenting is hard.
I feel like we've exhausted that.
So the second question is, how would you differentiate intentional parenting from other parenting approaches or styles? All right, I'll go first. Okay. I feel like in our time, or even before our time, as long as a parent has provided for them, that was parenting.
I feel like it started and stopped at provision. Full stop.
I've had friends who like growing up have so many traumas. I'm like, what do you mean? You guys have a good life. Until it hit me. There are those who were raised without nothing. Like they weren't well off. But then also the parents were not present emotionally. Now that's terrible. And there are those who they were given every single thing, but these parents were not present at all emotionally. Again, that's also terrible. So I feel like parenting, you do not just need to provide, you need to be present. So that's what makes it different. That's what makes intentional parenting different from other kinds of approaches or whatever parenting is.
And to add to what you're saying, I feel like parenting, it's also about finding the balance between every aspect. I mean, you could be there financially and be there physically, be there emotionally, just try and find balance among all these ways that you could be present for your child. Yeah.
That I just remembered. So for me, I got my son at 17.
Okay.
I gave birth immediately. 2 months after he turned 17.
Okay.
And it was hard. It was hard. But over time, there's someone with their whole personality that you're raising. And so I remember being bothered. So I went to a school where you needed to use magic words. You need to say sorry, thank you, you know. And so for me, they come out automatically until I had a child. And I realized it bothers me when he does something or when I give him something, he doesn't say thank you. You know? And it hit me. Kids learn from monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
So has he seen me do that? And so I have fully invested in them seeing what I want them to do.
Yeah.
And so there's one time I'm laughing because it's funny. So I wronged him and I didn't say sorry. It never hit me that he also deserved to be apologized to. And so there's one time I was like, I actually didn't do a good thing. And I need to apologize. So I called him. I'm like, hi, Aza. What I did was wrong. And no one deserves to be done that to. Yes.
Oh my God. No one deserves.
Like,
not to my son though.
It was okay. Let me just share. I mean, I'm gonna be vulnerable with you guys. So I think I was just under pressure.
Okay.
And so when I left the house, I locked the house, but like I didn't put the, how do you call it, the lock, like the padlock, haikuingia kwa chapi, as in how it needs to be. So really, sikuwa nimefunga nyumba. It was just the padlock that had been locked, and I went to the keys. So I come back. Remember, I didn't lock with the padlock. So when I held the lock, nikafungua, I was like, so there was no need to use the key at all. Yeah. So I left the key in my handbag. So I entered the house. The padlock was still left there. Like it didn't hit me to open the padlock and, you know, just put it wherever it's supposed to be. Leaving the house, I was now looking for the padlock. I'm like, where did you guys put the padlock? And I was in a hurry.
Okay. So you flipped at them?
Yes, I flipped. Totally bad. Like it was bad. And then, so I decided I'm going to just lock the house without a padlock. When I was going to do that, I noticed the padlock was there. After I had already hit him.
Oh my God.
Yes, I felt so bad. Anyway, so after I apologized, I noticed a change. Like, he would now find it easy to tell me sorry when he does something wrong.
Because he's seen you do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now, at some point, I had felt like he was becoming rebellious because he would not say sorry. He would not say thank you. But actually, it's really because he hadn't seen me do that. Yeah.
It makes sense. Okay. So I have, I don't know what this could be called, but do you agree with the fact that intentional parenting also involves gentle parenting?
Sort of.
Discuss. 10 marks.
There's this guy on TikTok. He uses a very authoritative voice talking to the son.
Okay.
And so the son had wronged the mom. And he's just shooting a video of him calling the son from the bedroom. And he's like, what do you think you're doing? You do not get to do that to your mom. You know, you're acting like you're so full of pride and you know the right thing to do. And his voice is very gentle, but the words he's saying are very strong. Just getting the son to think through, like, what are you really doing? And it got me thinking. So growing up, I had a very low self-esteem. I had a very extremely low self-esteem. And so I decided one of the things that I'm going to do with my kids is I will instill in them self-esteem. Like they will have, like they will know who they are. They will be confident themselves. And so I used to call my son King Cub. So he's grown up knowing he's a king. Like he knows he's a king.
No, but what I asked was, do you think gentle parenting or intentional parenting also involves
that's what I'm headed
gentle parenting?
Yeah, that's what I'm headed to. So when he wrongs, now I would sit him down. So he was obsessed. He knows what king is. He knows how a king is held with so much esteem and all that. So when he wrongs, I will sit him down and tell him, is this what a king does? Like, is this a kind of king you want to become, you know? But my voice is very gentle. I'm not hitting him like, why are you doing this? You shouldn't be doing this. But also making him think, make him reason, like, what kind of person do you really want to be? It's not more of outburst, but more of being gentle with him and letting him see through, like, there's something you're doing, there's something wrong, and whatever you do right now will determine who you become as an adult, you know? And I feel like that's very important, because me growing up, nilikuwa nashukia tu nimechapwa, like, you know, there was never conversations. I remember at some point someone telling me, do you know that if you spare the rod, you'd spoil a child, like, you need to be hitting this child.
It's actually in the Bible, though.
Yeah, but they thought I wasn't hitting him. It's just that not every other time. Like, I gave him an opportunity for us to have a conversation and get to understand where he's coming from. Yeah. So I think gentle parenting, intentional parenting involves gentle parenting. Yeah.
Okay, but I think how gentle parenting, the phrase gentle parenting is used in the socials or just in conversations around, it's that we're not allowed or supposed to use the cane, you know, like on kids. Like the way to go about it is, if the child is on the wrong, you don't have to physically hit them, but you can have a conversation with them about what it is that they're actually doing. Do you agree with that?
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Okay.
There are times you will be forced to use the cane.
Okay.
Yeah, but just not every time. I have seen kids getting used to being caned. To a point they'll be like, I'll just be hit and that is it.
And that's
like,
that. Yeah.
And so for them doing something wrong, they know, like,
they already know what is going to happen, and they're okay with it.
Yeah, so I have a problem with a kid getting used to being hit, but then I will say it's a mixture. Intentionality is you being intentional in all of this. You will not hit your kid right now and hit them later. And it's not something you've told them. Like, I've not tell my child that eating sugar is bad, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes ahead and eats sugar. And the first thing I do is hit him. He needs to understand why am I not doing this thing?
Yeah.
You know, how there needs to be a conversation. And then when it fails, then like there has to be a process, really. You don't just get to hit them, you know.
So for me personally, I know you guys don't know, I have twins, and they are 1 year, 6 months. They're still very little. And what I don't know, I have so many things against the cane. But anyway, I'm going to wait it out and see how I handle them when they grow a bit older. But yeah, I have so many things against the cane. Yeah, that's just me. Yeah, I do.
You wouldn't use a cane?
Yeah, I don't think that's because I went through that as a kid, and I feel like, for me personally, how I went through it, there was never a conversation, just like you've said. And I was just afraid of being beaten. I didn't know what I'm doing or why I'm not supposed to do it, if anything. Yeah, so I would like to be different with my children and just teach them that, okay, this is wrong. And I don't need to hit you for you to know that it's wrong.
All right.
Yeah. But anyway, like I've said, they're still very young. I'm going to wait it out and see how it goes for me.
They are. I totally
they
agree
are.
with you.
They're like toddlers now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so we have another question that says, can you share some examples of intentional parenting practices or strategies that you found effective in your own experience? So this is like personal to your own experience. Yeah, some examples of intentional parenting practices or strategies that you found effective in your own way.
I should go first.
Okay, again, I don't know if I'm considered a new mom still, but you know, I've just been here for a year, something less than 2 years. Yeah, so I don't have much like to say in terms of like intentionality and all that, because right now we're just like baby and all that.
But they're walking, right?
Yeah, they're walking.
So
they're like clumsy and all that.
So how do you deal with that if they touch something they're not supposed to touch?
Yeah, okay. I will say this. I realize now as a toddler mom that sometimes it happens very subconsciously that you could feel the need to shout at your child.
Yeah.
And that could hit it. It could make them believe that if mom is not shouting, then I'm not doing a wrong thing. Yeah. If she shouts, then that is when I need to know that, hey, baby, I'm doing something wrong. But then being gentle in a way that don't touch this or don't do this, or even just, not being careless. I've seen people being careless with their kids. I don't know if you've seen that, especially young kids, it's like, not young kids, like literally toddlers. That's what I'm talking about. And it's like, I want to be different in a way that I want to be fully responsible and fully like in touch with my child and learn them even in the details, because even as young as they are, they have different personalities.
Very true.
And it takes intentionality to know, okay, this twin is like this and this other one is like this,
Yeah.
and it's okay for them to be different. And for me
true.
as a twin mom, and for your twin moms, you'll agree with me that your twins cannot be the same. Your twins cannot be the same, and you have to give each of them grace. Like if one is growing, for me personally, where I am right now, I cannot be praising one for growing faster than the other. Like I have to be very gracious about
how to deal with that.
How I deal with that. It's like I train myself not to air it out loud. Like I could feel like my twin girl is walking a bit steadier, if you know what, or steadily, for that matter. And it's like I'll teach myself to hold it within me, because if they grow up and if I say that, then what does it do to the other one? Yeah, you've always had a favorite, and it makes the other one feel a bit, not loved. Yeah, for me, for personally where I'm at, that's what I'd say
in terms of just out of concern, because I feel like it is in that age that they're getting to pick a lot of things.
Yes.
And how they pick them determine how they view them even as they grow older. So in terms of appreciation, how you get to appreciate them, like how you navigate in that, how you appreciate them and how you correct them. You've talked about how you correct them, but how do you navigate appreciating them, like with the milestones they're making?
Okay, well,
you make it a big deal.
I really don't make it a big deal, honestly. I really don't, if I'm being honest. But one thing I do, I mean, if I feel like my child is like doing something good, I could maybe just clap for them or something, like just two little affirmations here and there, that they feel that mom is actually happy with this or something. Yeah. Again, these kids are very young for some of these things.
Nah.
Like, what do you mean appreciation? What else can I do, really?
Okay. For example, my son is 2 years, 2 months. So I noticed he's learned how to count.
Yeah.
So growing up, he's still not grown up, but
as he's growing.
Yeah, as he's growing up, I made a big deal on the milestones that he keeps making. Like if just from when he was making his first steps, like he'll make a step or two and I'll be clapping and I'll be making everyone clap for him. And especially littering. Like I have a problem with people who litter. But so as young as he is, you will see a child unwrap a candy and he just throws the like
the wrap.
But for him, because he's seen how big of a deal I make it, he knows he cannot throw it.
He cannot do that.
Like he wouldn't. And I just, because he's seen me doing that, I have no need to shout to be like, yo, why are you doing that? Like, I do not have to, because he already knows. So when he unwraps something, he'll be like, Mom, dustbin. Like, he knows this needs to go to the dustbin. So the things I have made a big deal. So if I have taught him to do something and he remembers it, I make it a big deal. Everyone will clap. Like, you have to clap. You have to clap for him. And so even for himself, now that he's learning how to count, he will count. He's not perfect, like 1 to 10.
He's trying.
He does up to 8. And so he gets to 8 and he's like, yo, I'm done. He's like, when he gets to 8, he's like, yeah, he's celebrating.
He's already happy with himself.
And then he tells me, Mom, clap for good boy. Like he
knows
when
he knows when to expect the claps.
Yes. And so I've noticed even it's the same thing. He will ask me to do something for him and like maybe help him wear his shoes. And when I'm done, he's like, Mom, good job. Like, it takes two to tango. And so that's what I mean when I ask, how are you navigating that with them? Like, children monkey say monkey do. So the way you, as much as you're clapping for them, I feel like they also need to know they need to clap for themselves.